I've been wearing the Fitbit Air for almost 2 weeks now, and all the review embargoes are up, so I can finally tell you everything about it. The problem though is that I'm a tech guy, not a fitness guy. I don't run, I don't have a gym membership, and I only know the basics about what's going on in the world of fitness trackers. At first, I thought that would make my review completely irrelevant among a sea of Fitbit Air reviews from super active, sporty people. But then I realized that it's actually a strength. If you're not an athlete either, but want something like this to help you get in shape or just keep an eye on your health data, then let me, a guy who would rather be on the couch playing video games right now, tell you about my experience. Here's how this is going to work. I have 3 major things I want to talk about: the Fitbit Air's hardware, the Google Health app, and who I think should actually buy this fitness tracker. So the first thing I need to say about the Fitbit Air's hardware is that Google knocked it out of the park. It's so lightweight that I constantly forgot it was even on my wrist. There are so many strap options and it's so easy to swap between them, which allows me to wear the Moonstone Elegant band most of the time and then easily swap to the Berry Active band during one of the few things I do that keeps me active, which is riding my bike. And it's important to note that I'm basing this only on the first-party straps Google provided to me. There will be so many third-party accessories for this, which will give you essentially limitless options to match not only your personal preferences for workouts, but your personal preferences for specific kinds of workouts. After all, what you want for hiking might be different from what you want for cycling, or hey, playing video games on the couch. The one problem here is that I really am not a huge fan of the strap that comes in the box. The material feels like the same thing seat belts are made out of, and the edges are very stiff to the point where I feel like it digs into my skin a little bit. Also, since it connects with Velcro, it was easy for the hair on my arms to get stuck in it, which doesn't feel great. Now, to be clear, the strap isn't bad. It's just that all the other straps Google offers are much better, which isn't ideal. Another thing I love about this is how simple it is to use. Obviously, there's no screen on the Fitbit Air, but there's also no buttons, no speakers, nothing. All you've got is this tiny little LED light on the side. This is helpful for alerting you if your tracker is running low on battery. You can manually check on that by simply double tapping the top of the tracker. One other thing the tracker has is a vibration motor. This will vibrate when you're tracking activities, like when you need to switch from one workout to another. It will also vibrate periodically if your battery is getting low, and it's also used as a silent alarm, which is helpful for making sure you wake up in the morning, but anyone else in the room doesn't get woken up too. There are 2 settings for the vibration: high and low. I found the low setting to be fine for my needs, but if you want something more intense to make sure you don't miss them, you can always bump up the power. You can also just turn off vibration altogether if you want, which will help to conserve battery life. One thing I want to emphasize here is that your Fitbit Air will not vibrate for typical smartphone notifications. This isn't something you need to manually turn off. This is literally not possible to do. This makes the Fitbit Air a perfect fit for someone who wants to track their health but doesn't want to be annoyed by smartphone notifications all day. But I'll talk more about who should buy this later on. The gist here is that I love the simple functionality of the Fitbit Air. But one thing I'm not a fan of is the fact that in order for alarms to work on your tracker, you need to set the alarms in the Google Health app. In other words, you can't go into the clock app on your Android phone and set an alarm that will go off on your Fitbit. You need to have a specific alarm set in the Google Health app. This is how Fitbit trackers have always been, but Pixel watches have the ability to sync alarms created by your phone and the ones created by the watch. I was hoping that would work with the Fitbit Air, but it doesn't. This also means you can't ask Gemini to set an alarm for you. If you do, it will just set the alarm on your phone, not on your Fitbit. Google did bring in a recurring alarm system inside Google Health, so you can set up to 8 specific alarms, which is nice. There's even a recurring alarm feature that will continuously buzz you every 9 minutes until you actually get out of bed, which is great for those of you out there with 17 alarms set on your phone right now. That's right, I see you. But yeah, it would be nice if the alarm features worked better with the phone, but I think this is a roadblock from the Fitbit Air's need to work on both Android phones and iPhones, so it probably can't be helped. Maybe this will get smoother in the future, who knows? So I have some complaints about alarms, but one thing I have absolutely 0 complaints about is battery life. In the press materials Google provided to me before the launch of the Fitbit Air, it told me you could get 7 days out of it before you need a charge. Well, that's actually not accurate, as I had the Fitbit Air on for 7 days and still had about 20% battery left. That means if I pushed it, I could get 8 or possibly even 9 days out of it, which is pretty incredible. Obviously, your battery life is going to be different depending on how you use the device. If you're tracking tons of workouts, have the vibration motor set to high, and have 8 alarms going off each day, you're probably not going to get anywhere near 7 days of battery life. However, if you're just looking for a simple tracker that keeps a log of your steps, your heart rate, and sleep, you'll need to charge this once a week at the max. That's awesome. Okay, and the final hardware thing I want to talk about is the charger. All in all, it's fine. It's very simple with a magnetic pad for connecting to the back of the Pebble and then a USB-C connector on the other end. The problem though is that it's so slow. The battery in the Fitbit Air is minuscule at just 34.5 milliamp hours. Using the provided charger, it takes 90 minutes to go from 0 to full, which is just crazy slow. Granted, there is a quick charge element. If you put the Fitbit Air on the charger for just 5 minutes, it should give you enough juice for a full day. But yeah, 90 minutes to charge this little thing? That's not great. I will hand it to Google for including an alert on your phone that the Air is fully charged. I love to see that. But even if you ignore the slowness, it's also not great that I have yet another proprietary charger that I need to pack up with me when I travel, and yet another charger that eventually will end up in a landfill when the Fitbit Air breaks or becomes obsolete. I know that getting a USB-C port on this small of a device would be impractical, but believe me when I say that I am so sick of proprietary chargers that only work with one specific device. All right, let's move on to the tracker aspect of this fitness tracker. Once you put it on your wrist, it's literally a set it and forget it situation. In other words, you don't need to tell the tracker you're going to bed. Just go to bed and it will start tracking your sleep. This also works for naps too. If you're going for a walk, it will auto track that as well. When you're done with the walk, the Google Health app will send you a notification asking you to confirm the walk. Just approve it and boom, you've tracked your walk. This works for lots of different activities such as running, cycling, and more. However, if you want to get more accurate tracking and get the tracker to learn more about you and how you do a certain workout, you should take your phone with you and start and stop the activity manually. Google Health will learn from these and get better over time. The one thing to note here that makes this different from a lot of other Fitbits is that there's no built-in GPS. This means if you want a detailed map of your bike ride or your run, you're going to need to have your phone with you to act as the GPS. If you don't care about the GPS map though, you can safely leave your phone behind. I know what you're thinking. What if the activity isn't automatically tracked? All you need to do there is manually enter it in the Google Health app. Everyone can do this by logging to the Today tab, tapping Log, and then tapping Activity. Just enter it in as much information as you can and then save it. The process is even easier if you pay for a Google Health Premium subscription. Instead of manually filling out that form, you would just hit this blue coach button that appears on every page of the app and then verbally say what you just did. The coach will log that activity for you, which certainly is nice. All right, so let's talk about this coach thing. This is an AI service powered by Google Gemini for paying users only, and it's the star feature of the new Google Health app and a big selling point for the Fitbit Air. It allows you to have relaxed verbal or typed conversations with Gemini, and it will act as your personal trainer, nutritionist, and motivator all in one. Like any AI-based system, I found it to be very helpful some of the time and comically terrible the rest of the time. Let's start with the good stuff. What I just showed you about verbally logging an activity, that's really easy and is a great way for you to keep up on your health goals, especially if you are trying to stick to daily routines. It's also great if you just have a simple question about your health journey. For example, I can say, how many steps am I averaging each day? And it will pull together that info for me. It's also very motivating. Every morning, it tells me how I slept and whether or not I should push myself that day, stick to my usual routine, or take a rest day. This is all really useful stuff. But it also can be tricky to use and, in some cases, flat out wrong. One thing it can do is make a workout routine for you. I travel a lot as a tech YouTuber, so I'm constantly in and out of hotels. If I'm in a hotel but want to make sure I stay active, I can ask the coach to make me a workout routine for a hotel room. It then produces this very helpful workout list complete with videos showing me how to do certain things. But you'll notice there's no video for shoulder taps. Does it want me to do shoulder taps like this or do them like this? I've seen both online, so I don't know what to do. And I don't even know what a torso twist is. These are minor examples, but if you're someone who's just getting started on a fitness journey, things like this could be a roadblock to your success. Another thing the coach can do is analyze what you're eating and log your calories. This is helpful if you're trying to watch what you eat or doing a strict calories in, calories out routine. Of course, for it to be helpful, it needs to be accurate, and it's just not. Here's a time that I asked it for the calorie content of half a cup of peanuts, and it logged 420 to 430 calories when my scale says it should have been 394 calories. 30 calories might not seem like a huge difference for some peanuts, but if there are 30 calorie discrepancies at each meal for a full week, that adds up fast. Things get even wonkier with more complicated meals, like this dinner I made. It logged this as between 360 and 440 calories, when I know for certain that it should be 543 calories because I used the Lose It app to log all the ingredients as I was cooking. So yeah, I'm not super sold on the AI coach quite yet. The thing is though that this is the main reason to pay money for Google Health Premium. So it's kind of good news that the coach isn't terrific because that means you don't need to sign up for premium to get what you really need from the Fitbit Air. And hey, who really needs an extra paid subscription in their lives? Not me, that's for sure. Okay, so now I need to tell you who I think should buy this tracker. The buyer who I would highly suggest this to is the person who doesn't want a smartwatch. Maybe you don't want to charge your watch every day, or maybe you don't like the idea of getting smartphone notifications on your wrist. Maybe you have an analog watch you love, or maybe you just don't like the idea of having a big bulky thing on your wrist all the time. If that's you, but you still want a way to track your health, this is now one of the best options you've got. At $99, it's cheaper than most other options, including most smart rings. It doesn't require a subscription and will fit in your life perfectly thanks to all the strap options that are available now and the thousands more that are coming soon. And what if you've already got a smartwatch? Is there any reason to get this? Yes, I would still recommend this to smartwatch owners because this can be a dedicated sleep tracker. What I'm going to start doing now that the review period is over is taking my Pixel Watch off at night and resting it on the charger, and then putting on the Fitbit Air to track my sleep. This will mean I'll always have a 100% full watch every day and make my sleep more comfortable since the Air is less obtrusive than the watch. I can also see myself wearing the Fitbit Air and leaving my watch behind when I do things like camping trips, as I won't need to worry about charging the Air. Honestly, I feel like this is the perfect tracker for so many people out there. As long as you know what it's designed to be used for, I can't imagine you won't be happy with it. Anyway, if you are on the fence between this and a smartwatch, check out my full review of the Pixel Watch 4. And if you enjoyed this, liking and subscribing would be an amazing thing to do. I'll see you all down in the comments.